you guys have made it to the final stretch. Two more, and then it's time for the beer and the wine, right? So I feel very fortunate that I can represent Jody today. I've been to the ISPCS twice. This is my third time, and I always get so much out of this conference. And what I'd like to do today is to tell you a little bit about Marshall and how we do support the various mission directorates, and how important developing partnerships is going to be for us and the agency as we go forward to beyond Earth orbit. Newsflash, if you haven't heard, our budget is flat or declining. Flat would probably be optimistic, quite frankly. And we are beyond the time frame of when NASA had the expertise and the budget to just go out and do these great things on our own. We have a lot of challenges ahead. You heard Kathy talk about that earlier today. The fact that we need one another to be successful. And so NASA's at that point to where we're very open to partnerships, and we are admitting that vulnerability and inviting you all to come in and to partner with us. One thing I would say, just to keep in mind as a partner, that typically the culture has always been, okay, you guys come and say, NASA, what is your roadmap? And where are you going and what are you doing? And we're gonna jump on that bandwagon. And we're busy developing what that roadmap is today, but there is innovation in diversity, as we heard yesterday. And we are looking for your perspectives. We're looking for that diversity. We may not have the right answer, but together we might be able to create the right answer. So that said, I want you to really understand that we're serious across the agency, not just at Marshall, but all the NASA centers, about partnering with you guys. And it's not an easy process. I'll be the first to admit we are the government, but we're working on it, and we are making strides in making things a little easier for you guys to partner with us. So bear with us. It's, baby steps, but we're getting there. So one thing I want to point out on this chart is the way we support the mission directorates. About 55% of our workforce directly supports HEO, Human Exploration Operations. That's Bill Gerstenmaier, of course. And about 28% of our workforce supports the Science Mission Directorate. And then there's about 4% that supports the Space Technology Mission Directorate. I would tell you, though, that sounds like it's a really small percentage of technology, but technology is woven throughout everything we do. I think you'll see that when I talk a little bit about what it is that we do at Marshall. So how we support human exploration and operations. This is our biggest area, of course. I'll talk to a couple of these. The commercial space companies that we support. Kathy alluded to that earlier. The way we are supporting those commercial space companies at Marshall is by providing expertise and lessons learned throughout their design reviews. So we are actually a part of their team. Several of the other NASA centers are also engaged in that same way. We are also on their anomaly investigation teams. So we've been through Shuttle. We went through the cancellation of Ares, but we got to a certain point within Ares, and now SLS. So we've seen failure, and we've recovered from it, and we've moved beyond. And so we want to provide that information to the commercial companies. It's in our best interest for the commercial companies to be successful, because we are to take our budget and focus on beyond Earth orbit. We cannot focus on getting the crew and cargo to ISS while we are focusing on getting beyond Earth. So it's in our best interest to help the commercial companies do what they're doing today and taking crew and cargo to the ISS. Now, the other thing we're doing with International Space Station is Mike Suffredini, prior to his retirement, set a goal for us to get to 70% utilization on the space station. So there are opportunities there for science research. As we're moving towards Mars, we are still going to continue conducting research on the ISS. So that is an area that you all will have opportunities if you have science to fly on ISS. We also work with the other NASA centers. Contrary to popular belief, we're not all competitive. There's this group within each NASA center called the Partnerships Office. And the folks in those offices are, by their very nature, very collaborative. we want to help others. And I'll talk a little bit more about that on the last slide. But we work well together. If someone comes to Marshall for a capability that we don't possess or that we don't have a real strong capability, another center does, we will send those folks to another NASA center. So we are working more collectively now as a team within NASA than we have prior to. We also manage the Michoud Assembly Facility, where we do a lot of our manufacturing of the large components for upper stage and core stages. And then, of course, our engineering capabilities are very diverse, so I'm not even going to try to talk to all of those capabilities. There will be a link on the last chart that will take you to a site that actually has spec sheets on most of our capabilities, so you are free to go out there and browse. In the interest of time, though, I won't be talking it today. Okay. So technology, we support that with the SBIRs, the tech transfer of patents that we have. One of the key things in our office is the technology demonstration missions. And I want to reiterate what Ioana said a minute ago is a lot of folks come with projects that are a TRL maybe 3 or 4. They think they're at a 7 and they're ready for a flight demonstration. They're not. And so we are really struggling right now for what is that right process to make sure that things are mature enough for us to go into that technology demonstration. I'll go on to science, because I see I have about 3 minutes left. And so we talked a lot about Pluto today, and you guys saw the images. So I have to brag a little bit. Our office did manage the Pluto flyby. Well, obviously, we had a lot of help. It was a huge team across the NASA centers. But we're very engaged in the science piece as well. We've had a lot of success there. And right now, our big focus is James Webb Space Telescope. So I want to go one more and give you a little bit about what is the demand for the Marshall services. These are the areas that typically partners will come and request because we tend to have a lot of expertise, one in propulsion, and obviously we're looking at our propulsion roadmap right now, and we're looking at nuclear and chemical and solar electric. We're looking at standard LOX methane, lots of different propulsion avenues we could go down. We're working green propellants. And so that's one of our TDM missions, as a matter of fact, technology demonstration missions with Ball Aerospace is with green propellant. And so, a lot around that propulsion aspect. We also have NIRPS, the National Institute of Rocket Propulsion Systems, which is a consortium of government entities that have that propulsion expertise. And so that is a great area to plug in if you guys are in that propulsion development area. We do a lot of structures, manufacturing, friction stir welding. We do a lot of the testing for propulsion and for structures, as well as environmental testing. So some of the partnerships we've had with Dynetics and Teledyne Brown and supporting SLS have been in fabricating large pieces of hardware and utilizing that friction stir welding capability in advanced manufacturing processes. We also have a huge demand for additive manufacturing, and we have quite a bit of materials expertise at Marshall, some of the best experts, probably in the nation, I would say. We have a lot of composites, knowledge and background at Marshall as well. So those are really the most utilized. I would say that's what we try to stick with. That's a big part of our swim lane. There is an effort going on at this center right now, or at the agency level. Robert Lightfoot is trying to make sure all of the NASA centers are understanding their core capabilities so that they stay within their swim lane, because we can all easily kind of start overlapping one another, and every center does everything really well. And so we're streamlining right now and trying to make sure that we understand what we do best. And so these are areas that we do best. We do other things. We obviously don't, launch anything from Huntsville. I'd send you over to Scott Colorado for that at Kennedy. But so just a shout out to my fellow partnerships office guy over there. Thanks. So one final note, now that I have 30 seconds, you'll notice there's that big red button, and that's supposed to be like an easy button. Our Marshall Partnerships Office, whether you're looking for a core capability at Marshall, or it might be a procurement, it might be a Space Act agreement that you need, it might be an SBIR, you may not know who to contact. That is what that office is there for. They are a front door. So hit the easy button. Sam Ortega now manages that office for us, and his contact information is there. And again, I've got the URL that will take you out to a lot of different information on our core capabilities. So feel free to contact Sam. Feel free to grab me after Andrew's spotlight if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them. And I really appreciate your time and attention today. Thank you.